For the best of national, local, international news and sports, tune in to News Punch and Diamond 88.7 FM. News Punch, all about the news.
All right, a very wonderful morning to you. It's 1 minute come past the hour of 9. Thank you for staying with us on Diamond 88.7 FM, Ilorin. This is News Punch, a news and current affairs compilation of topical story headlines making the rounds. I am your host, NEDU OKORIE. You're welcome. In the headlines this morning, Fintiri is APC's leader in Adamawa's Shetima. Umahi orders opening of 15-kilometer Enugu-Onitsha expressway section. Federal government lists 65 student innovators for 50 million naira grant. European Union announces 290 euros new investment package for Nigeria. Governor Soludo appoints 39-year-old Nanke as Anambra SSG. Governors back APC national leadership, rules out rezoning. Makinde offers Oyo workers 10,000 naira salary top-up over fuel price hike. Makinde convenes PDP stakeholders meeting on 2027 strategy. 2027 Zamfara Governor directs council members seeking office to resign. Zamfara Speaker, 12 PDP lawmakers defect to APC. Barua unsits MC Oluomo as NURTW president takes control of secretariat. I remain NURTW national president, says MC Oluomo. Court jails ex-accountant general 72 years for 868 million naira fraud. In Kwara, 6-month-old baby survives as bandits IED kills driver, injures woman. And moving on to the foreign scene, Trump postpones Iran power plant strikes after very good peace talks. Iran denies talks with US, warns against attack on key infrastructure. Colombian military plane carrying troops crashes after takeoff. And lastly, on the foreign scene, North Korea confirms continuation of Kim Jong-un's leadership. And in the exciting world of sport, Turkey, Galatasaray confirms Osimhen's successful surgery. Guinea denies contesting Morocco's 1976 AFCON title. And those are the major headlines making the rounds this morning. It was compiled and edited by Abiodun Akinwumi. My name is NEDU OKORIE. And for sponsorship or advert placement, kindly contact our sales and marketing office on 0912-929-4332. You can also call 090-77227120. Up next is the Diamond Breakfast Show, where we discuss and have an in-depth analysis on some of the topical stories. Don't forget that you can also follow us by logging on to any of Diamond FM online platforms on www.diamondfm.net or keep up to date via all our social media pages. Do stay tuned. I'll be right back.
Major talking points in Nigeria are always on the lips of the citizens.
What's going on in this country? Look at smaller countries taking lead and you call yourself giant of Africa. Yeah.
Nigeria don't spoil my business too much. Nigeria is too hard for us. I mean, they want to kill us. Why they not kill us for Nigeria? Please, help us beg them.
They should reduce their expenditure so that they can free enough money for social development.
I wish for a Nigeria where we elect a leader based on competency and not popularity.
On the Diamond Breakfast Show, we place the spotlight on the critical issues in the country.
Government that says they are broke can prioritize construction of an additional runway over education of the people.
How can a government, how can you hurt Indomine? I mean, it's intolerable. It's provocative.
Now, you see, when you look at our democratic journey, we are yet to practice the new democratic system in Nigeria.
Join us on Mondays to Friday on the DVS from 9 to 10 a.m. The Diamond Breakfast Show, amplifying the voice of the people. From the studios of Diamond 88.7 FM in Loring, this is the Diamond Breakfast Show.
All right, it's always good to be back on Diamond Breakfast Show. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Diamond Breakfast Show. And this is where we normally discuss issues that shapes the polity, issues that shapes governance in Nigeria and every other sectors of the society. My name is NEDU OKORIE. My friends call me Mazio Dogu. Since you are my friend, you can call me Mazio Dogu. All right, just like I said, you're welcome to the program. We'll be looking at issues that are trending from the national dailies. We have three important topics to discuss this morning. We'll be taking a look at issues surrounding security and politics this morning. We'll take a look at the fresh terrorist explosion that occurred in between the border of Niger and Kwara State. And in fact, it seems as though these terrorists are improvising or using another means of attack. We'll look at this. Then we'll move on to political alignment and realignment ahead of 2027 and also the alleged political persecution of the opposition figures by the ruling APC. These are the three issues we'll be looking at this morning. You can be a part of our conversation. Send your messages via WhatsApp 0913 655 6864. You're welcome to the program. All right, to discuss these issues, I'm being joined by a political and policy analyst. Yes, he goes by the name Mr. Ayo Abegunde. You're welcome, Mr. Abegunde, to the program.
It's my pleasure, Mazi.
All right, a very wonderful morning to you. So good to have you for the first time here. Yes. Let's take a look at the first issue we have this morning. Security operatives between the border of Niger State and Kwara State have confirmed that 8 persons lost their lives following a bomb explosion involving a commercial vehicle traveling from Wurumakoto village in Kayama local government area of Kwara State. It was on its way to New Busa in Niger State when it ran over an IED, yes, an improvised explosive device. Now, for those who understand military technology, you will know what this is. An improvised explosive device is planted where the enemy doesn't know, and once you step on it, it explodes. But report states that the IED was planted by the same terrorists who used similar IED to destroy a bridge along Luma Road in Borgu local government area of Niger State. And many have speculated that it seems as though these terrorists have some sort of military training, sophisticated military training for them to carry out this attack with IEDs. And before it was just, suicide bombs and all that. But during clearance operation, the military discovered other IED devices planted along other areas. But let's speak concerning the intensity at which these terrorists are advancing in terms of their equipment, in terms of their gadgets. I think, was it yesterday or so, I heard a report from an ex-military personnel, a former lance corporal, or should we call him a retired, because he left the army after 2 tours to Maiduguri. And he said that these sophisticated weapons that these insurgents use are something that are being procured for them by some elites in the society, to the extent that they even employ military personnel from other countries to train them. These are unverified reports, but coming from someone who was in the army. I want you to speak concerning this, Mr. Abegunde.
It's a pleasure to be here. Fortunately, I'm meeting you for the first time. It's not my first time on this in this studio.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you see, the issue of terrorism is multifaceted. You say they have arms, ammunition that are sophisticated. Let me tell you that there is a political economy angle to terrorism. See, it first started like spontaneous attacks, little crises here and there.
Yeah.
And then mineral resources came into it. Kidnapping came into it. These two lucrative angle to terrorism helps terrorists to raise funds. And so they have the capacity to reach outside the shores of Nigeria to get arms from other non-state actors.
In other regions?
In other regions. The Sahel region, neighboring Chad, Niger, stuff like that. You know, there's a spiral of crisis in that region coming to Borno State. And then it goes that corridor to the northwest. And then you ask yourself, the more money you have, these other bandits from those regions we're talking about also need money. Maybe they are not involved in kidnapping. Then they have people who are willing to give them money, and they already have arms from other. There's a conduit going far into the Middle East where these arms and ammunition come in. So they have an abundance of it. We have money from kidnapping and ravaging resources, mineral resources. So you are able to raise money to buy those arms and ammunition that are coming in. That's why they call it proliferation of arms. And then what do you have? You have a desperate group of people, non-state actors, who want to defy legitimate governments. So because there's no control over their usage, and because they are under pressure from regular Nigerian security services, they carry out spontaneous and annoying attacks just to show that we are still present. So anytime you see that there's a government action, security government action somewhere, there's a retaliatory action by these non-state actors somewhere else, just to make a statement that, look, cannot annihilate us. We are still on ground. We are present.
All right. Now, you've mentioned 2 things that might be fueling the sophistication of these terrorists. You've mentioned kidnapping and the exploitation of mineral resources in those regions. Now, does this, will I call it deviation of resource funding and resource funding, yes, we can call it that, does this negate their original motive, original ideology? Now, the original ideology was that they don't want Western education. They are against it, and that is what they want to preach and take around the whole country. That was their initial, but right now, it has involved kidnapping, burning of villages and all that. Now, and you've also mentioned that it has turned into an economy of its own. the military are overwhelmed at this point? Because based on reports, the military seems overwhelmed. We've mentioned time without number, the various means, the various ways we can go about all this. To you as an analyst, what are the measures that you think that the government is not taking? We know that political involvement is in it, but how can that involvement be removed totally?
Well, we can only make suggestions. If you ask how can the involvement be removed, it takes the will of government, the political will of government. Just last night, I was discussing informally with somebody. I said the attacks that took place in Urago on Sunday morning, Omugo in Urago axis.
Yeah.
That was not the first time. It happened last week. It happened on Sunday. It happened last month. It's been recurring. You ask yourself, there's a particular pathway through which they come. There's a tendency in the activity. Is it impossible for government to deploy intel to go further through those pathways and try to find the source where they emanate from? It just seems like as soon as it happens, they go back into their shell. Government to just commiserate with those who have react. They commiserate with those who have been lost. They commiserate with those who are injured, and then everybody goes back to their tent in Israel. So there's no further proactive measures taken to trace the pathways through which they have been coming. I was in Orago 2 months ago, thereabout, about a month ago for a burial, and I saw the hilly terrain, and all of us, we had to have that burial service in the open air, and we're all looking around us frantically because there were security agents, all so to speak.
Yeah.
But nobody, I guess several people were just 50% concentrating on the service itself.
All right.
We're looking around, hope there's no sudden burst of terrorists coming out from those hills. So if me, supposedly a layman, can begin to visualize where they are likely to come from,
what might happen?
Yes. So why is government not taking proactive actions immediately after such attacks? As look, they came from this axis. They came from this axis. Let us ask the security agents to probe those pathways and see whether we can see where they are domiciled permanently. Because it's not an unending journey. They must have to domicile somewhere after they have carried out those dastardly acts.
All right, because these concerns you have raised also was the same concerns authorities are also raised, that despite the presence of heavy security in those areas, particularly in the Kayama area, it seems as though these guys keep on devising new techniques and new means. Before it used to be invasion, raiding and burning, but right now it seems they've devised new means. But we'll talk about the issue concerning intelligence and information when it comes to security, and also the role of leaders in regions, not just the governors and the president, but certain key leaders, traditional institutions. What are their roles in terms of our security architecture in Nigeria? Let's go on this commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue with the program. This is still Diamond Breakfast Show. I'll be right back.
Being iron and care, be good for your body. Are you not aware? Polyback the day for there. Now your daily friend, for your blood, be 10 over 10. Oh yes. Feel your best, join the way of party test. Blood builder for everybody. Healthy body for everybody. Kerubina, product of fits in healthcare.
All right, welcome back from that short break. You're still listening to Diamond Breakfast Show, and this morning we are taking a look at the fresh terrorist explosion that occurred between Niger and Kwara border. And I've been speaking with Mr. Abegunde, who has been sharing his thoughts. Well, let's take a look at the issues surrounding intelligence. Some military personnel have testified, have said that when it comes to intelligence gathering, sometimes information get leaked and they try to find out how. How does this information, for example, they are meant to mount an area. Sometimes before they get there, they'll see some insurgents already there, and it will be difficult for them to either pass through or do whatever they want to do in that area. Another issue is that sometimes they say that they don't attack until they are given an order to go, even if insurgents are close by, they don't attack until they get the final order from their commanders. And many of them said that the proliferation of generals in the army is also causing this leakage of information. I want you to speak about that, and what are your thoughts concerning intelligence gathering and dissemination when it comes to security issues?
You have thrown an avalanche of questions, but I will try and see if I can take them one after the other.
All right.
Let's first look at, you see, terrorism is not a conventional war. Like if we were to go into war with Republic of Benin, now we have a common border where we can line up our armored tanks, the soldiers can go in, we can shoot at each other, looking at each other face to face. They're splintered around, terrorism is all over. Just like I said, when they are taking action against them in Sambisa, in Borno or Yobe, they are reacting in Kayama. When you are bombing them in Kayama, they are reacting in Niger. So that's how it happens. So the army or the armed forces do not have a direct enemy to fight with. So that is why you have this spontaneous outburst of explosives all around. For intelligence gathering, see, as long as there has been war, there has been spies. As we speak today, the United States of America, CIA, have spies all over the world.
True.
The same with all conventional, they call espionage. It happens all over the world. So within our own space, you can imagine how many we have. Because of some certain sentiments, we are aware or we are told that people spy, they give information to this because they share their beliefs and, some ethnic kind of coloration, relationships and stuff like that, which is not far-fetched. It's a normal thing. So I think the government of the day must take necessary measures to purge the security services of people who have this kind of character. Then when you talk about proliferation of generals, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Because on the other hand, we're always complaining that as soon as a new chief of army staff, a new chief of defense staff is appointed, you have to retire an entire generation of generals again. Go to the USSR, old USSR, or even Russia today. You have generals who are 70 years old, who are over 70, still serving the experience. But here we have 48-year-old, 50-year-old generals who left ND 25 years ago when we are supposed to be reaping the gains of their experience. That is why, because of one appointment that's come from the new commander-in-chief, you have made the chief of staff, chief of air staff, you have made the chief of army staff. All those who are above you have to be retired. Just like we saw with the IG situation now, we're talking about close to 30, if not more than, that had to be retired. But I think because the president saw that it was going to be a backlash, he mitigated it by saying, okay, voluntarily, those who want to retire, they can retire, but those who want to remain will be accommodated in the system. But who wants to serve under his opposite junior in the force? So I do not share your opinion that there's proliferation.
It's not my opinion. It's one of the opinions of a soldier who left the battlefield, and this is his own assertion that when it comes to instruction, delivering of instruction, they are many of them, according to him, are loyal to politicians due to appointments and all that, and it has affected how security is being tackled.
Yeah, I think it has to do with structure. If we structure it very well, that is very recently we hear that they are now putting a forwarding base in some of these areas that are prone to. So that's if we can decentralize presence of security, formations so that make them closer, like local governments are closer to the people in terms of governance.
Yeah.
We can make military presence closer to these points because they don't happen in cosmopolitan areas. They happen in very remote
and rural
areas where they are not expecting security forces to be present. And it happens without warning, Just wake up and you discover that they have come over in the morning. They come in the morning when you are just yawning, trying to find out what you take for breakfast.
Okay.
They just invade your community. And it happens, and before you make a call to see the issue of command structure and intelligence, that's one side of it. But you see, when you're talking, I think the new Minister for Defense has tried to ease that situation by saying, look, don't wait for any order from any commanding officer. Once you see terrorists, shoot them aside. But I still think I take that with a pinch of salt. I don't know how effective that would be, because everybody will still want to be answerable at some point if they make mistake of getting the wrong people.
Because carrying out an operation without an order is, don't you think it is treasonable in the army?
You see, the battalion is different from the. I don't know how you grade them in terms of military formation.
Okay.
But every unit has a commanding officer. The smallest unit, I guess, is commanded by lieutenant or something. Then the next one maybe by captain, up to a colonel, and that it goes until it comes to the general officer commanding a whole brigade.
Okay.
So if we are saying that you have given a lieutenant the commanding responsibility of a particular unit, no matter how small, I think he should be able to take responsibility, because the person is going to take instructions from. He's not on the war. It's not in the war zone. He's not in the war front. He's in the office probably.
Yeah.
So he has to make a call. But I think that call should not. It should not be belabored. It's not something that you take forever. Oh, and then where does the issue of what you call it, using your initiative come from? You are being attacked. You can see attack coming. You can see the enemy approaching you. What time do you have to make a call to your commanding officer asking him for their permission to shoot at your enemy? I think those should come with spontaneous
action.
Initiative. Yes.
All right, now let's come down now to Kwara State. Let's take a look at the statement of one of the coordinator of the Kwara South Joint Security Watch, Olaiton Zubeiru. He has raised an issue. He's frowning at the lukewarm attitude of leaders of that zone, that district. That's the Kwara South Senatorial District, regarding issues of insecurity. According to his words, he said, politicians have sent empathy messages, but we demand action. We need technology, vigilance, and collective action to secure our communities. Join forces with security agencies and support community. He just went on and on, but all he's trying to say is that the input of leaders in that area is not felt when it comes to security. It's only reactive messages, empathy messages that they get. Does it mean that leaders are not meeting up to expectation, or they are not doing well, or they just occupy the position ceremoniously?
Well, it's not in my place to hold forth for any political leader or community leader anywhere in Kwara South. What Baba has said is relevant. So it's a call to order. I think those who are in positions of responsibility, either as community leaders or as political leaders, who have the mandate to serve their people, should rise up to the occasion. Provision of logistics, provision of finance, and create a rallying point for all those who should help to fight insecurity, to come together on that platform to do so. The vigilantes, the local. If you ask me, I think it now dovetails into the issue of community policing.
Yeah, state policing,
community policing, state policing. You see, when the people who are within, because there's none of this terrorist act that has taken place that do not have the hand. We have had stories about them. There have been exposures about people giving information of who to come and kidnap. And leading them to the house of the person. They give information. All this is not without the connivance of people within that community. So we're saying that if there's community policing, traditional rulers are involved, the local vigilantes are involved, the community leaders are involved, it is easier to monitor the movement, to monitor the activities of people within the society, within the community, and help to nip these issues in the bud.
All right, finally, Mr. Abigunde, concerning security, do you think that at least up to 70 or 80% security insecurity can be eradicated?
There's nothing that is impossible, because there is no force in the world, no matter how well equipped, that is handled by non-state actors, should be able to overwhelm the regular forces of the state. Except that state is nonchalant, is lethargic, and is not ready to take the bull by its own.
All these things you've mentioned, it means that is what we are.
That is your word.
No, you said it. All right, let's permit our listeners at home to participate in this conversation. 0913-655-6952. That's the number to call. 0913-655-6952. Hello, good morning. Yes, please, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? Welcome. Thank you.
What happens is that on this program, if government is ready, sir, to come this matter, you come NEDU, you read this what he says. What he says. They know the president, the sponsors. They know them very well. Because here, after this matter,
all right, he's talking about sincerity of purpose, that if they are sincere enough, they would actually tackle the issues of insecurity. Keep your calls coming in 0913-655-6952. Hello, good morning. Yes, please, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from? You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Security. So, even Christopher Moses, the minister said, nationalism of the masses is the way out of this insecurity. And the government needs to be sincere and be favor to the masses. But our politicians and our leaders, I compare them with dogs. Because the dog is not hunting for meat because of its owner. The dog is hunting for meat because of itself to shop the meat. So we need to redouble effort and have the serving of humanity in their mind. So we need to keep the system of this security issue. Dr. Larry,
thank you so much, Dr. Larry Okiki, for your contribution. R.O. Ekundayo on our WhatsApp platform says, good morning, the host and analyst. Insurgency in Nigeria is political and there's no political will from the federal and state government. We need a patriotic and God-fearing leader to overcome these challenges. Thank you so much for that message. Hello, good morning. Thank you. You're welcome.
They had more effort. You know, the local government in the Kwara State said that this thing is rampant. The government should try and buy more drones. And some people, they should check the security agents. There is some leakages of information. They should warn them. They should check them.
All right.
And the people who do this thing, that have access in hands, they're supposed to check all of them. Because all this thing happening, it has a hand already. The government to continue to put more effort. So all the bushes, they should clear it.
All right. Isa Mohammed from Ilorin says, good morning, Mr. Nedu. There is a suggestion that government should invade all the forests where these hoodlums are hidden. Let the forest be declared dead zone, even if flies. It should be neutralized. All right. Thank you so much for that message. Let's take some more messages and we'll move on to our second conversation. Sakaoni Omuritala from Alori says, I greet you people in the studio. In fact, the government needs to invest more in our security in Nigeria. And the government can also add technology to security experts. If anyone is involved in this insecurity, the government needs to neutralize them immediately. All right. Samuel from Airport. Good morning. Terrorism and banditry has become a viable economic venture for these criminals. The government needs to rejig the security architecture to enable terrorism and banditry to end. Okay, okay. All right, let's continue with the program. Let's move on to our second conversation. Let's move on to political issues. Right now, let's talk about the opposition PDP. Yes, political alignment and realignment is actually going on. The 2027 general elections is drawing closer, and there have been efforts to reconcile factions in oppositions. And there have been meetings and consultations. The recent one was on Sunday by the remaining PDP governors. Jay Makinde of Oyo State, Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State. They met with the leader of the Nigeria Democratic Congress, Senator Seriaki Dixon, as well as the former Kano State Governor and NNPP 2023 presidential aspirant Rabiu Kwankwaso. Although the meeting was officially described as part of the Eid al-Fitr celebration, but many have speculated that it's related to, the 2027 general elections. Now, let's take a look at this alliance now that has been going on. We've been hearing backlashes and, criticisms by oppositions and various political figures. But with this alignment, in fact, Mr. Peter Obi was also reported to be at that meeting with Rabiu Kwankwaso. Now, with this alliance going on, do you think that it correlates with that notion that politicians have no permanent foes or permanent enemies? I know that we've advanced in our electioneering process. There used to be a time when everything was marred by violence. Once an attack comes forth, violence ensues. But do you agree with this notion that there is no political enemy when it comes to Nigeria? Once interest aligns, there is no enemy.
It's given already.
Yes.
You already answered. You said interest. When interest, you see, because at the end of the day, as a political scientist, I was told that membership of political party was people who share the same beliefs, the same ideology, the same ideals. But it's the same interest that aligns politicians together now. Because if you ask me, when I saw that news on Sunday morning, and that Peter Obi had gone to greet with some governors, you use the word remaining, it's very derogatory, but that's the truth. The remaining governors from the PDP to see Kwakwan, so you begin to see that something is unfolding. Excuse me, because Peter Obi just left Labour Party less than a year ago to join the ADC. Then he's hobnobbing with the remaining PDP governors to go and see the leader of another political party. He must know that there's some kind of desperation unfolding. And with the INEC timetable, something has to give way between now and the next 4 weeks, or else you are left in the lurch. So it's not far-fetched, all this scrambling and running helter-skelter that you are seeing. We will see more season films as the days unfold.
Wow. Talking about season films, the two factions in the PDP, the Turaki faction they've tried as much as possible to reconcile the party. And the Wike faction also, they've tried, but they are accusing the governors, that's the other faction, of trying to destabilize the coming convention that is slated for 29th and 30th of this month. But we citizens, we don't see it this way. We see them as the same, but with different ideology, probably because they don't have the same interest, or they don't somewhere probably sideline. But let's talk about those who are meant to vote. The citizens are meant to come out and vote. There are many things to look out for in people who call themselves politicians. What should we look out for?
Unfortunately, we don't have crystal balls. Because we're not talking about one voter, we're talking about 200 million Nigerians.
With different mindsets.
Yes, maybe 60% of them are registered as voters. We don't have the crystal ball. You see, the politicians come out, they promise heaven and earth. Now, the season of politicking, they are giving out Ramadan food, gifts, sending out messages. If you hit your foot on the stone, politician who is contesting election will send message of sympathy, empathy to you. If you fall on the road walking, they will send message of let elections go. Nobody cares about you anymore. So we really can't say who the best candidate is. Just God just help us in this country in terms of choosing leaders, because we have seen people who supposedly had good intentions.
Yeah.
They espoused those good intentions. They showed it. We knew them to be very good people. But the moment they mount political leadership positions, it's like there's a demon in that space. They change. They just change. You begin to wonder why. This was the person I was relating with 2 years ago, a year ago, in fact, a few weeks ago before he got sworn in. Now he's sworn in and then he suddenly has put on a new coat. So nobody is going to be able to decipher who to vote for, who is a good candidate and who is not a good candidate. But within the limits of our human judgment, we should choose the best candidate and God will help us.
All right, God will help us. Now, let's talk about party politics in Nigeria. Let's talk about party ideology. Many people have claimed that no party in Nigeria has an ideology, that the ideology of political parties, in fact, political figures, is based on what they as individuals or a group want. Now, what should be expected is that when a political figure comes up to contest for a post, it comes with a manifesto that is backed by the party. And shouldn't the party see through to ensure that the content of that manifesto is actualized to the latter?
You see, I'm very surprised the way we operate politics these days.
Yeah.
In time past, during the days of them, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, President Memory, Aminu Kanu, the party had a very clear-cut manifesto. You knew what that party stood for. UPN, for example, stood for free education. That was the mantra of UPN. And then other compliments. So if as a candidate, you come out with a manifesto when you have not emerged as the candidate of that party, you're on a goose chase. Because how do you now espouse your own manifesto outside the structure of the party? I very recently have seen some candidate aspirants coming out with manifesto, with papers, position papers. Agendas. How do you come out with an agenda when you have not grabbed the ticket of the party? Then you now come together, look at the manifesto of the party, and infuse your own initiatives within the context of what the manifesto of your party says. Then you come out with what you can present to the electorate. I think it's just wishy-washy and meant to brainwash voters. To come out, it's just, I think it's public relations, if you ask me. Just to let people see you are serious. This is not meant to disparage anybody, but it happens all around. It's been happening, not today. But I said in the Second Republic, in the First Republic, there was a synonymity between the party manifesto and the candidate's manifesto. It had to be symbiotic.
So you're saying right now that Nigerian political parties do not have ideology and their responsibility of being a watchdog. Yes, because in terms of ensuring that their candidate or the candidate they churn out actually meets the interests of the people they serve. Is that what you're saying?
You see, in other climes, we always have political parties that are... that was what General Ibrahim Babangida tried to do in 1988. We had a little to the right, a little to the left, with the SDP and the NRC. In the United States, for example, you have two main political parties, the Republican and the Democrats. We do know the Democrats to be the welfarist kind, laissez-faire kind of, while the Republicans are conservatives, core conservatives. In Britain, too, we have the Labour and the Conservative Party. You know, these are two fronts. Two different, seen from two economic points of view. But here, political parties are the same. They project the same thing. The same people populate this party today. They populate the second party tomorrow. They go back to populate the third party the next day. It means that the parties are just vehicles. No ideology. We have had people who have belonged to principal political activists who have belonged to 4 political parties in this country. Then you now ask yourself, is it you that has that ideology or the political party? What is the purpose? What was the purpose of forming that political party? And they were even founders of these political parties. So it is easier for you, as you see, just like the parties have their ideologies in those claims that we're talking about, the people too are tilted towards these political, socio-economic standpoints. Some people are welfareists, they are conservatives in nature, and others are welfareists in nature. So when you want to vote, you vote based on those convictions. There are people who are conservatives, they will never leave Conservative Party. There are people who are Labour, they will never leave Labour Party, no matter what happens. They rather not vote for their candidate.
But in Nigeria, the conviction is money.
I hope they could see you.
All right, you're still listening to Diamond Breakfast Show, and we have been discussing politics. We're discussing about political alignment and realignment following the meetings by opposition figures over the weekend. We had Sheyi Makinde and Bala Mohammed. They said it is derogatory to call them the last men standing. Oh, we still have Wike. Wike is also one of the last men standing.
He's not a governor.
He's not, but he's like a governor. Governor of Abuja, where some will call
serving the APC government.
Yeah, well, these are the last 3 men standing in the PDP, and many have said, oh, is this the end of the one party that used to be the biggest in Africa? Well, come 2027, we'll see what will unfold, and things are still unfolding. Let's move on to our final conversation, Mr. Begunde. Let's talk about allegations of political suppression and persecution by the ruling APC. This was alleged by the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar when he paid a solidarity visit to the former Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Abubakar Malami, who is facing 2 separate court cases, allegations of terrorism financing and 8.7 billion naira fraud and money laundering case leveled against him. The article said that the ruling APC is trying to use their position in power to suppress opposition figures just like Malami and even Nasir El-Rufai, who is meant to face being caught today in Kaduna State. But do you think this allegation is right? This case was brought before the court, 8.7 billion naira fraud case, and it is still being tried in court. And one person is coming out to say that it is the administration that is using their power to persecute opposition figures. Can't we wait until the court determine the verdict?
That's what's supposed to be, supposedly so. Let me start by quoting Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi said, "We cannot go from wrong to wrong to defend morality." Is the former vice president alluding to the fact that Malami has not done anything wrong? These were properties that were listed, incontrovertible, with his name and company names. Well, it's in the place of the court to find him guilty. But by even just coming out with those statements and the figures, humongous figures, like 200 and something billion, chief law officer of the Federation, and you now say it's persecution. It's appalling. It's nauseating for that kind of statement to come out from the mouth of so high-ranking Nigerian. El-Rufai confessed on national television to his supposed crimes until he's found guilty by the court. Then you say it's opposition. You see, opposition in Nigeria is meant to be, you are no longer in government. So when you are trying to come back to government, you must oppose the government in power. So all manners of accusations, all manners of dirty things should be thrown at government in power. Opposition is supposed to look at, that's why I said, when I'm in the midst of my friends and we're arguing politics, I don't disparage government 100%, and I don't support government 100%. I look at issues and we take them one after the other. That is how you analyze government. Opposition is supposed to look at the policy of government, critically open it up, and say, oh, they have done well with this, and this.
Exactly.
They could do better with C, D, and F. But to just wholeheartedly look at an issue and say, oh, this government fumbled, they are stupid, they haven't done well. Yes, they say they are fighting corruption. They are persecuting you, according to you. Which one holds water more? Is it the fact that this man has been accused of corruption, or that the prism or the optics of persecution that you are seeing?
Now, this persecution we're talking about, does it mean that once a politician is not aligned to the ruling APC,
ruling party,
yes, ruling party in a particular country, does it mean that they can be left untouched? Because these claims by Atiku, obviously, it is towards opposition party and opposition figures. Are they being his in the main party? Do you think that they will be persecuted, just like they have alleged?
I don't know if you people have been jailed who are in the ruling party.
In the ruling party?
Well, whoever is going down will have to hold up to some strand.
They don't want to go down alone.
Yes. So we begin to allude to persecution when we should look at the issues on the merit of it, which is the fact that this man is alleged to have stolen from the Commonwealth of Nigerians. He should undergo trial and allow the court. So to be paying solidarity visits to those kind of people is annoying. It shows that you are now giving moral stamp to criminality. Yes.
All right, before we go, our time is fast spent. Let's quickly take a look at the incident that occurred between the EFCC operatives and Mr. Abubakar Malami at his residence, where they raided his home and he was requesting for a court order for a case that is still in court. Do you think it is right for the EFCC operatives who filed the case in court to, raid the house while the case is still in court? That is his own argument.
Well, Mazi, when we started this program, you called me a political policy analyst,
of course.
not legal analyst. Well, I don't know the position of the law concerning that raid. I do know that if it was the police, you need to valid warrant to search, not raid. Because the language we have used there is raid.
Raid, yeah.
So the circumstances surrounding that raid or invasion is not clear to me. It's not known to me. So I will not be able to make an informed comment on it. But whatever people like Atiku say, it is opportunity. It's an opportunity for government in power to put some kind of metal down the grandstanding kind of attitude towards opposition people, so that it will not be seen as victimization. Rather, it should be seen from the point of pursuing due process against criminals.
All right. Now, finally, let's talk about Nigeria's judiciary. I know our time is fast gone, but when it comes to cases surrounding politics, it seems as though cases are being stalled for a long time. But when it comes to criminal case that involves civilians and not politicians, it is always expedited. Is that the case from your own perspective?
Well, there are two angles to it that I see. The politicians have a lot of money to spend. And so the lawyers, sorry, this is not supposed to
they also
lawyers. But senior judicial officers have also complained about the fact that some top lawyers, big lawyers in the country, always stall cases that involves politicians. Rather than ask for expedited hearing, the technicalities here and there on a daily basis get adjournment. At the end of the day, sometimes we have even had cases where they had to ask for a retrial of a particular celebrated case of corruption against a top-ranking senator. These are the issues. But for the other one that we're talking about, the lawyer wants to dispense of it immediately and go on and take another case. Maybe the man only has one off payment to make.
Wow. All right, let's hear from our listeners at home. 0913-655-6952. Hello. Hello. Yes, please. Good morning. Thank you. Go ahead. Yeah.
PDP choose so PDP need to be very careful and sensitive on the wise. But the person that is dividing their progress is in their midst. So they need to be very, very serious and find the way out and the internal battle that they are facing for the betterment of their party.
All right. Just like the Yorubas will say, that the ant that eats the plant is always there.
Will you say it in
It's always Kokoroton Jeffo. That's what is happening right now with the PDP. All right, this message says, Mr. NEDU, PDP is suffering from their past. They are the genesis of what we are facing today. They should stop calling the ruling party. It is their shadow that is chasing them. This is according to Issa Mohammed. Thank you so much, Issa Mohammed. Elder Yemi Ashaju says, some of the alliance you see going on is a face-saving one. Peter Obi is the most celebrated serial defector in Nigeria. His ship appears to have lost bearing. Kwankwaso is confused. He doesn't know where to go. Others are like the prodigal son. Any alliance that is built on falsehood, selfish agenda, and deceit will not stand. More scenarios will unfold as we move closer to the general elections. Wow. All right, Mr. Abegunde, give us your final take and we call it a day today.
Well, we're moving to another round of elections. Pray that we have the opportunity to choose our leaders aright. And when we have chosen them, they should serve us well.
Of course. They should serve us well. We elected them to those positions. And talking about security challenges, it is persisting and it seems as though it might not stop. But let's have the hope that one day it will subside. And political lines is also shifting. The coming months will definitely test us when it comes to our democratic ideals. We shouldn't be tempted at all to sell our birthright. Stay alert, report suspicious movement to security agencies. Community intelligence is very important. Let us demand accountability at all times. Let's engage with our leaders. It's very important. Let's engage with our leaders at the grassroots level and avoid the spread of unverified and fake information at this age. It's very fast for you to reshare and even comment and like. You've already supported those false information. Please, let's stay involved in our democratic process. And this is where I leave you on the Diamond Breakfast Show, the Tuesday edition. It has been a wonderful time, and we hope to have you some other time. My name remains NEDU OKORIE. My friends call me Mazio Dogu. Since you are my friend, you can call me Mazio Dogu. Have a wonderful day.